will never go away. It'll always be with me. And I think I saw somewhere the sadness is a reminder of how much he means to me. Just feel like, I did something right.
Regina King didn't plan to speak tonight. The Oscar-winning actress had been quietly mourning, keeping her distance from the swirling chaos that followed Malcolm's sudden, suspicious death. But when she walked onto that stage, eyes sharp, voice steady, the entire room froze. No one was prepared for what she was about to say. In her hand, a thin stack of papers, crumpled at the edges, each one looking like it had been handled 1,000 times. "I've kept this to myself for too long," she began, her voice cutting through the thick silence like a blade. "But Malcolm was more than a friend to me. He was family. And the truth about what happened to him, it's uglier than you can imagine." She paused, scanning the crowd, making eye contact with a few familiar faces. "His wife," Regina continued slowly, "didn't just betray him. She planned it every single step." A wave of gasps erupted. The reporters leaned forward, pens trembling, cameras clicking in rapid fire. Somewhere in the audience, someone shouted, "Prove it!" Regina simply held up the papers. "These," Regina's hands trembled slightly as she stepped away from the podium, but her voice never wavered. The air in the packed room felt heavier with every second that passed. Flashes from cameras lit her face in brief, harsh bursts, and each flash seemed to etch her words deeper into the minds of everyone listening. The murmurs in the crowd were growing louder, a low hum of disbelief and speculation. She unfolded the first paper and began to read. March 12th. Dinner reservation at Valentino's. Order the wine he hates, make him drink it anyway. Keep him distracted. Regina's tone was cold, almost mechanical, as though detaching herself from the words was the only way she could get them out. March 15th. Contact the friend about timing. Make sure he understands the payment won't come until after. The audience erupted again, some gasping, others shaking their heads. One woman in the second row covered her mouth as if holding back tears. Regina's eyes flicked up briefly before she continued. "These aren't my words. They're hers. Handwritten in her journal, found in the drawer she never let Malcolm touch." Behind the cameras, a small group of people huddled together. Among them was Terry, Malcolm's closest friend since college. His jaw was tight, his eyes locked on Regina like he was silently urging her to keep going. "Malcolm's wife, Tasha," Regina said, her voice cracking ever so slightly on the name, "was already planning her life without him months before he died. And she didn't just want to leave. She wanted him gone." Across the room, someone yelled, "This is insane!" But it was drowned out by another voice shouting, "Show the proof!" Regina lifted the papers higher. "Every page is here. And there's more messages, receipts, calls she thought no one would ever see." As she laid the first few sheets on the table beside her, a reporter near the front leaned into his mic. "Regina, are you saying Tasha was involved in Malcolm's death?" Regina didn't flinch. "Involved isn't the word. She orchestrated it." The words hung in the air like smoke after a gunshot. Terry stepped forward from the back of the room, his voice carrying over the stunned silence. "I told Malcolm to be careful. I told him something wasn't right. But he loved her too much to believe it." His voice broke on the last sentence and he quickly looked down at the floor. Fans who had gathered outside could be heard chanting Malcolm's name. The sound seemed to fuel Regina's resolve. She reached for another document, this one a printed email chain. "This," she said, "is between Tasha and someone saved only as Contact K. In it, they discuss where Malcolm will be on the night he died. They talk about how long it will take for the medics to arrive. And they talk about making it look like an accident." The room went completely still. Even the camera shutters paused for a heartbeat. Then chaos broke out, reporters shouting questions, fans crying out, and one man in the back yelling, "Lock her up!" Regina closed her eyes for a moment, collecting herself. "I didn't come here to sensationalize this. I came here because Malcolm was my friend, and he deserves justice. The truth doesn't bring him back, but it makes sure they can't erase what really happened." Terry moved closer, standing just beside her now. "Tell them about the night at the gala," he said quietly, but the mic caught it. Regina hesitated, then nodded. 2 weeks before he died," she began. Malcolm attended a charity gala. He was in good spirits. Tasha was different, distant. She spent most of the night outside on her phone. Later, a security guard told Malcolm he'd seen her in the parking lot, talking to a man in a black SUV. That man was the same person listed as Contact K. Gasps rippled through the audience again. Terry added, "And that was the night Malcolm told me he thought she might be cheating. But he brushed it off, said it was just stress. I think he didn't want to know the truth." Regina laid down the email chain and picked up a photograph. This was taken 3 days before his death. Tasha and Contact K at a coffee shop, going over what looks like blueprints. And before you ask, yes, these have been verified by a forensic specialist. The room felt suffocating now. Fans outside were pressing closer to the glass, trying to catch a glimpse of the evidence. Security guards moved in, guiding Regina toward a small table off to the side where more files waited. She sat, flipping through pages with trembling fingers. "I've been holding on to this for weeks. I wasn't sure if coming forward would make a difference. But when I saw her in that interview last week, talking about how much she loved him, I couldn't stay quiet. Not when I know the truth." Terry placed a hand on her shoulder, steadying her. "You're doing the right thing," he said. Regina looked up, meeting the eyes of the crowd. "This is just the beginning. I have 5 more sets of documents. Each one brings us closer to proving what she did. And when we're done here, there will be no doubt left." The room buzzed with tension. Cameras refocused, pens scribbled faster. Regina's next words were slow, deliberate. Part 1 was her plan. Part 2, she tapped the remaining stack of papers, is how she put it into motion. And with that, she reached for the next file. Regina slid the next file from the stack and the room seemed to lean in with her. The paper's edge caught on a small staple and tore slightly, an ugly sound that matched the mood. She didn't apologize, didn't smile. She just breathed once and began to read. April 2nd, 8:14 p.m. meeting confirmed. Location moved. Partner insists on no cameras, no phones. Bring cash. She raised her gaze. This is Tasha's note to herself. Same handwriting as the journal. Same pen pressure. We had it analyzed. She tapped the corner where a faint fingerprint smudge lived. And yes, there's a print. It matches. A reporter called out, "Whose print?" Regina's answer was immediate. "Tasha's." The back doors opened and 2 latecomers slipped inside, whispering as they found space against the wall. The door thudded shut like a gavel. Terry shifted his weight beside Regina, as if bracing for a hit that hadn't landed yet. "The plan wasn't just theory," Regina continued, voice level. "Tasha began moving money weeks before Malcolm died. Small transfers, 2,000 here, 5,000 there, into an account in a different name. It looked like random bill payments at first, until the dates sat next to the text history." She held up a printed screenshot. The projection screen behind her threw the grayscale bubbles into giant, undeniable shapes. "Unknown. We're locked for the 20th. Tide chart says 6:42. Tasha. How long? Unknown. Minutes. He won't fight long in that current. Tasha. There can't be a trace. Unknown. There won't be." A low rumble of voices rolled across the room. Fans watching the live stream outside started chanting again, the rhythm shaky but growing. "Justice for Malcolm. Justice for Malcolm." A child's voice, too young to understand the words, old enough to feel the energy, joined in, thin and earnest. Terry leaned toward the mic. "We asked the carrier to verify. The number was a prepaid bought cash. But the tower pings? They line up with Tasha's route home. Every time she texted this contact, her car left the house." Regina set the page down and chose another. "Here's where emotions ran high," she said softly, flipping to a staff memo captured by a housekeeper on her last day. The housekeeper wrote that 3 nights before the flight to Costa Rica, Tasha and Malcolm argued in the kitchen. She was pacing. He was at the sink, hands on the countertop. The housekeeper heard him say, "If you need space, take it. Don't make me the villain for giving you patience." Tasha answered, "You have no idea how big this is." The housekeeper told us she thought they were talking about a role or a move or a brand deal. Regina's jaw tightened. They weren't. Terry pulled a small recorder from his pocket. "We almost didn't bring this," he said. It's messy. It hurts. But you need to hear it. He pressed play. The sound that filled the hall was imperfect. Air conditioner hum, the click of a glass on marble. Then Malcolm's voice, gentle but strained. I don't want to fight. Not tonight. Tasha's response came clipped. Then stop pushing. Sign the papers. Malcolm, we agreed after the trip. Our daughter's birthday is not a battleground. A scrape, maybe a chair. Tasha, lower now, words barely there. Then Costa Rica is the last chance I'm giving you. The clip ended with a soft exhale that could have been laughter, could have been disbelief. A woman in the audience stood, eyes wet. He was kind, she said, voice wobbling. I met him once years ago. He stayed 15 minutes after the event just to sign a program for my niece. He didn't deserve this. Several heads nodded. A man near the aisle muttered, none of them do. Somewhere a phone chimed and was hurriedly silenced. Regina picked up a photo next, a printed still from security footage that caught Tasha at a storage facility. This was 2 weeks before the trip. She rented a unit under a different last name. Inside, the log shows a waterproof case purchase, a set of disposable phones, and an oversized first aid kit. She paused. Who buys burner phones and a waterproof case before a family vacation? And why hide it? The question didn't need an answer. The silence that followed was eloquent. The family was left divided, Terry said. Malcolm's sister begged him to postpone the trip after that kitchen argument. He told her, I can fix this. I can fix us. Terry swallowed. He believed love could fix anything. Regina drew a breath that trembled at the start and steadied by the end. Now this part is the twist none of us wanted to believe. She slid out a bank statement, edges highlighted. The morning after Malcolm died at 9:17 a.m., a transfer request was filed to move ownership of 3 accounts. At 11:03 a.m., a legal doc template was downloaded from a private portal. At 2:26 p.m., she scheduled a courier. By 5 p.m., she had control. Regina's eyes scanned the room. The speed wasn't grief. It was preparation. A different reporter, voice tight, asked, do you have confirmation these were her actions? Terry nodded. IP addresses point to her devices. 2 paralegals who processed the form confirmed the timing. One of them broke down crying when we asked questions. She said, I knew it was wrong, but I was told to do my job. Regina's phone buzzed on the table. She ignored it. Terry glanced and grimaced. Her PR team, he murmured. They're watching. From the aisle, a sharp voice cut in. This is character assassination. A woman in a crisp blazer stepped forward, a badge clipped to her lapel. I represent Tasha. None of this has been authenticated in a court. My client is grieving. You're turning tragedy into theater. Regina faced her fully. There's nothing theatrical about a mother explaining to a child why birthdays feel like funerals now. Her voice softened, then sharpened again. We plan to hand all of this to the state with 0 cameras. We still will. But we are here because the narrative has been curated to make a hero look careless and a widow look saintly. Fans are shocked for a reason. The holes are gaping. The attorney opened her mouth to reply, but a roar rose from outside. More fans, more phones, more raw ache. The chant had changed now, turning into, show the pages, show the pages. The pressure of strangers believing added weight to every breath. Regina turned a page. Fine. Pages. She began reading a block of text scrawled in haste. Flight arrive early. Use the spa booking as